ahead and we see that slave mentality that the Israelites had. They came out of slavery, but they brought slave mentality with them. They literally brought them, carried them in their backs. And we see how that slave mentality is the one that makes you feel unworthy. It's the one that makes you feel unready. It makes you feel unprivileged. It puts fear, it puts doubt, it puts defeat inside your mind. It makes you meditate on these things. This is a slave mentality. It's not a prince mentality. It's not a kingship mentality. No, it's not the mentality where you know, like, God is with me. I am an overcomer. You don't have that. You have the slave mentality that you're thinking you're always a loser. You're always gonna fail. Nothing is ever gonna work out. And you know, when Moses picked out those 12, only 2 had this different spirit. When the Lord talks to Moses later, he tells them, is there anyone like Caleb? Caleb has a different spirit. He doesn't go with the flow. He has this courageous spirit, this strength, this strong spirit. There's something about Caleb that I actually really love, right? He and Joshua were 2 people amongst the other 10 leaders who went to go and spy. And the other 10, you would think, because they are influential men, they are men of high ranking, they are noblemen, they are chiefs, and they are princes, you would think that they have a different mentality. You think that they have a different spirit, but they're just like the rest. They're supposed to come back and give a good report to the Israelites in order to pump them up, to inspire them to go and conquer. But they give them a horrible report so that they could be discouraged. And we have to be able to be very, very mindful in this particular stage of our lives. And when that time finally comes, you should be very careful what you're listening to, who you're listening to, because that can either put you in this place of being discouraged or being fearful. When you're supposed to take that step, now you feel you are retreating, you feel discouraged, you feel hopeless, that you cannot do these things. And so it is very, very important. It is extremely important, because once you miss out on that opportunity, it may be hard for you to get it back again. Once you miss out on the opportunity of getting married, maybe you found a particular person that you wanted to marry and you think this person is a good potential, but because of X, Y, Z and reasons known to you, you miss out. You say, you know what? No, I'm not gonna go there. You know, maybe for example, you see like their financial status is very discouraging to you, and so because you say, okay, maybe this person, they don't have as much money as I thought, so just that discourages you, and then now you begin to retreat. You go back. You be like, no, refuse, because the Bible specifically says that the Israelites refused. That is in Deuteronomy. They refused to go in and possess. Same apply to us. We refuse to go in and marry that person because their financial status is not exactly good. Other people, you refuse to go in and apply for that job because you feel like maybe you're not qualified. They want for XY, they want for this number of years of experience, and you do not have that. Or they want someone who has achieved a particular, doctorate or whatever, and you may not have that, but still God is pushing you to go and apply, but you don't want to. When God is saying, okay, now go, it's time for you to travel, but you retreat, you feel like maybe I might just get rejected, might not have my visa or something. Or you did get rejected the previous time and you didn't get your visa, so now God is pushing you to go and apply again. You're like, you know what? No, because I will just get rejected like last time. And you miss out on that opportunity. And so it is extremely important. It is extremely important because timing is important. The reason why the Israelites stayed there for 38 years later, because they missed out on that opportunity. And the Bible specifically says that they rebelled against the commandment of the Lord. They rebelled. That is verse 26 of Deuteronomy chapter 1. Verse 26, they rebelled against the commandment of the Lord. How did they rebel? Because they failed to go. It is a rebellion by omission. It is an act of rebellion by omission. The rebellion comes from them not acting, going, doing what they were supposed to do. That is where the rebellion came in. And many of us, that's how we reach a point where we actually truly do rebel, because we rebel by omission. When the Lord tells us to do something, we don't do it, and that is rebellion. This is sin of omission. right? There are people who do rebellion by commission. They act, they do something, idolatry, stealing, lying, all these things, right? They do something that they're not supposed to do, right? But this rebellion by omission is doing something that the Lord, not acting the way the Lord tells you to act. And that is something that is very dangerous. Don't think just because you're not worthy, you cannot do it. Do it afraid. Do it afraid. Even if you feel like you don't have the energy to do it afraid. Even if you feel like, I don't know how it's going to work out, I don't know how things will go about, do it. Even if you don't see the blueprint, you don't see the full picture. As long as you have God in your side, that is all that matters. That is all that matters, that God is with you, that He will never forsake you, that whatever you tread your foot upon, there you shall possess. You shall possess that land. You shall possess that marriage. You shall possess that job. You shall possess that business. You shall possess whatever you set your eyes on, whatever you set your heart on, because God is with you. And that is all that matters. But many of us, we don't go in to conquer because we don't believe that God is truly with us, that we are doing it alone. And that God will not fight for us. God will not go before us. He will not make those crooked paths straight. He will not do anything. And that is where you and I fail.